A win, 2 goals, and a win over Manchester City. Sum up your emotions and your thoughts.
Yeah, no, it was a bit of a mad game in the end, really. First off, I thought we played well, but myself missed a big chance, and as a team we missed a few big chances. So, you were hoping that wasn't going to come back and bite us. But again, I thought second half we played really well, put the chances away, and it's a great result.
Your first one was probably your hardest chance of the game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But that's football. You get chances, and I'm obviously disappointed I missed one in the first half, but you keep plugging away and keep getting them, and it's going to hit the back of the net. So I'll always back myself when I get chances, and it was a good finish.
That second one, I think there was 52,000 people in the ground on the edge of their seat. What was it like waiting for that offside decision?
It's horrible. That is the one downfall of VAR. When you're waiting for a goal like that, especially when it's such a big moment in the game to get back ahead. So delighted to see that one go in and a bit of relief. And then we hung on really well. So.
You're the first Newcastle player to score 2 against Manchester City since November 2003. A certain Alan Shearer is in our studio right now. What are your thoughts on that, Harvey?
Good company, good company. Yeah. No, I was just delighted, really. And I think I said last week about scoring, but it not counting. But tonight it's a different story. That the 2 goals matter, and it's the 3 points. So great result for us, and one we can really build on.
I was going to say, just how big a win does this feel for Newcastle United? Not just to beat Manchester City, but what can it do for Newcastle's season?
Yeah, no, I think we spoke midweek actually and said it's going to be a tough game, but it might be the sort of game that we need on the back of the run of form we've been on. A great result against obviously a real tough opponent, and hopefully a real confidence boost now for the team going into this next period, which is obviously going to be busy, full of games in different competitions. But the Premier League's one that we really need to be picking up in, and this is a great start.
Just very, very finally, I didn't know if you knew, but it's Eddie Howe's first win as a manager in the Premier League over Manchester City. Might he be saying a thanks to you boys tonight?
I think, yeah, maybe, yeah. I didn't know that, yeah, but hopefully the first of many.
Top man, Harvey, well done, mate. Massive comeback.
Beaten away from home in back-to-back games, and that feel-good factor created by the win over Liverpool disappears very, very quickly after the international break. Pep Guardiola, we saw he was unhappy at the full-time whistle. We understand he went straight into the referee's room after the game, so we'll be interested to hear what he has to say to us very shortly. This was the winning goal. We think it might have been related to that. There are 3 incidents that were checked here by the VAR, Jamie, so we should actually just pick over these.
Well, the first one's Donnarumma, so he feels he's been fouled there. I don't think it was enough of a foul, might have been, but there's still a lot happens after that. Then the second one is obviously Guimaraes offside. You can see this is the foul there. Harvey Barnes has definitely got his arm on him. He's not strong enough. So let's deal with that. He gets enough time to get up. They don't deal with the second ball. Then they give themselves a problem at the back post. With Newcastle got 4 players there. Voldemar does really well. Now, is he offside? You can see Guimaraes there, and you can see Ruben Diaz. It's so tight. He does amazing. Look at that desire to get on the end of a cross for his team.
The second question is Barnes offside from that position. So these are decisions that VAR had to make, which is why it was such a long stoppage. It was over 4 minutes. Here's the first one that you talked about.
This one,
I
don't think it is. And then you can see Harvey Barnes move. But then the improvisation to bring it down and then to do a backheel skill like this is absolutely incredible. In the box when it's so tight, players round him. Look at that. He gets his foot up so high. What a goal. Absolutely magnificent, Meeks.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, you've explained it very well, Jamie, but the defending for the goal was just not good enough. I mean, how he's isolated at the back post. Great finish from Barnes, fully deserved it, worked really hard. But if you look at the goal, if we can go back on that a little bit. So obviously it's come in and they have to. That's the first check that he was talking about, Jamie. He's onside. That's not a problem. As they roll it on there, Voldemar does very well. You mentioned all the bits and pieces, but he should never have a free header at the back post. It's Núñez that's free at the back. He gets it well, work it really well, do Newcastle, but it was too easy.
Here's the semi-automated technology in effect. So it's Ruben Diaz's bicep that is keeping Bruno Guimaraes onside, according to the technology. It's obviously a very, very close affair.
Very close.
And then the question was, from the next check, was Harvey Barnes behind the ball. I think we've got the automated technology, semi-automated technology for that as well.
I think he looks like it. You can see Ruben Diaz is here. It's incredibly tight. We're talking fractions.
Let's push it
of
on.
an inch here, but brilliant. Let's just talk about the goal.
It's great from Harvey Barnes, but we just need to clear this up, Jamie, as well, because people will be asking the question.
It has been cleared up. It's been given as a goal.
Technology. I'm told it's coming.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, who wears black boots anymore?
That's the evidence that Harvey Barnes is behind the ball. So let's just clear up that third bit. Is there a foul on the goalkeeper?
No, I think he needs to be stronger. I think he needs to be stronger. He wasn't strong enough in this particular moment. Obviously, there's loads of bodies in there. You see you're going to expect that as a goalkeeper. You see Barnes there on him, but the size of Donnarumma, I think it's too easy. It's too easy.
Harvey Barnes is the one to watch here. Look, he just comes round the back of Guardiola. It's a slight nudge, but is that enough? No, it's not. He's got to be stronger. It's poor goalkeeper. He has to just look at that. And a lot happens after that as well, Dave. There's a lot, as Micah said, things happen. Yeah, of course he's going to complain. But sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. You've got to make sure you react after. I think for me, the most important thing was the desire that the Newcastle players shown to make sure they get on the end of that cross. Guimaraes epitomised it, and it was a fantastic piece of play. Great individual skill by Harvey Barnes. Wonderful bit of play.
Yeah, he was clearly unhappy, and you saw the reaction from Pep Guardiola after the game as well.
They protected speeches
like
too much
losing.
anyway, so I think it's a fair one. I don't think anybody could say it might have been a slight nudge, like your Manchester City hat on there. You'd even say that there wasn't.
No, it was not enough contact. It's not a foul.
But it's a big moment, isn't it, for Manchester City, because they've seen Liverpool beaten earlier, Arsenal in action tomorrow. They've missed a big opportunity to get within a point of the leaders. But this was a really significant result for Newcastle United, and they have so much to thank Harvey Barnes for, who's waiting to speak to us now. Well, that was some game. Congratulations, Harvey.
No, thank you. Big result for us. One we definitely needed on the back of a few poor results. And yeah, what a game to be involved in. It was a bit of a mad one. A few big chances missed. Myself to blame for that in the first half, but second half, yeah, really picked up and came out firing again. And it's a massive 3 points.
So it was a question in the first half, certainly, of chances missed, Harvey. When that's happened to you, and you've been involved in that big one that's come on your left foot as well, are you thinking about that in the dressing room at half-time? Is that on your mind?
No, listen, it's football in a lot of ways. You've got to move on. If you dwell on them, the rest of the game, it's going to affect you, and it could well affect your performance. So the quicker you move on from it and get on to the next chance, it showed in the second half. You quickly bounce back, and there's glory at the end of it. So yeah, I think it was forget and move on.
Harvey, I'm pleased you weren't listening to our analysis at half-time, because we was like, he's got to finish that one, especially you were talking about your technique. Maybe as he leans back, got to finish it better, but you certainly made up for the 2 goals. Just talk us through it, because it's a wonderful bit of play. The first one, you have a lovely link up with Guimaraes, and it's a difficult finish because you're having to lean back and you finish it so well. But the initial bit of play I really love here. Talk us through it.
No, well, first of all, on the one in the first half, it's the one I've got to score. But yeah, these are bits that we work on in training. The little link-up play and getting ourselves them opportunities. And then I think when you get in that position, it's about just getting that composure. And I think for attackers, they're sort of things that come natural. You can work on it, but in the game, it's about finding
on that finish, wasn't there?
And what about this one, Harvey? This is brilliant. This is great improvisation, skill in the box to be able to bring it down with the outside of your foot and a back heel finish. Yeah, it's just that little bit of improvisation, like you say, in the box. It comes quick, and you've just got to find a way to down and find the net whatever way you can. And then you've got that horrible 2-minute wait when we're seeing what's happening offside or not. But a lot of relief and weird foot shape there again.
Well, we show you that first one again, Harvey. I think we can slow it down for you. It just struck us that it was slightly unusual, but it just shows that the quality that you've got here. Talk us through this.
Yeah, it's I guess as it's coming across, it's not fully out of my feet almost. It's hard to say in the game. Everything's happening that quickly. It's I think that's just sort of a natural. Get whatever way you can to get the best finish, and yeah, it's always nice when it finds the bottom corner there.
So, Harvey, I see the interview. Can we expect you at the World Cup for Scotland?
Hello? The line's gone.
Was this a come and get me plea to Steve Clarke then, Harvey? Come on.
No, listen, that isn't obviously on my mind at the minute. There's a long way to go until the summer, and sort of the club form for us hasn't been there. So as you can imagine, the team and my only focus has been, well, it was about the game tonight and the next period of games that we've got coming up. So yeah, I can't say that there was any thought in that. It was just getting the job done tonight, which we did. I think someone said it was the Gaffer's first win against Man City. I think it was. That's right. First couple of goals. So it's a good night all round.
So it's not a no then.
Harvey McBarnes, that's got a ring to it.
I've got McBarnes, Harvey McBarnes, I like it.
I mean, we were actually debating, Harvey, whether you would actually know the words to Flower of Scotland. I don't know if you can confirm or deny that.
I can't say I do, no.
Not yet.
Anyway. No, don't worry about that.
but just going back to your club form, because that is absolutely the bread and butter. And I think you said it right at the start, Harvey, but it hasn't been a great start to the Premier League for Newcastle United this season. So how much did the team need this one tonight?
No, I think it's massive. You look at the last couple of results. I mean, obviously this is a home game and it's a great result, and our away form's been the problem this year, really. But it has been on our mind, of course. The Champions League games have gone really well for us, which is amazing. We want to do well in that, but the week-to-week games in the Premier League has been the problem. And you look at the league table, it probably looks a bit better after the result today, but before this, we were nowhere near where we wanted to be. So today's a great start and a great step in the right direction. It's just about kicking on now. The fixture list the fixture list is so busy for us coming up now around the festive period. So it's just about getting that momentum, confidence, and really kicking on.
Well, congratulations tonight. A really important victory, as you say, and two fantastic goals for you as well, Harvey. Well done, and enjoy Marseille as well.
Thank you.
Well done, Harvey.
He was waiting for another one there, wasn't he?
He was.
His guard was up.
Like,
what's coming
no.
next?
Did he get man of the match?
Scoring two, I'd assume so.
I will delay my response while I hope someone tells me the answer to that question.
OK.
No one's going to.
OK.
So I'm not sure. Do you think he deserved it?
I thought the
Bruno
two goals were brilliant. Midfield. I thought Bruno Guimaraes today was out of this world. We've seen some midfield performances. I remember doing a game a couple of weeks ago. Caicedo in midfield was exceptional against Tottenham, but he's of a type where you can see defensively he puts out fires. He's always involved in the defensive aspect of the game. But what I love about the Newcastle midfield is they have a lot of midfield players get labelled now. He's a 6, he's an 8 and he's a 10. When I watch Newcastle play, I look at Tonali, he's a 10, an 8 and a 6. And it's the same with Joe Linton, and it's the same with Guimaraes. They have great energy. When they lose the ball, they go and get it as quickly as they can. Even if that means at times, as Micah said perfectly earlier on, they'll maybe run into space or vacate areas. They rely on their dynamism, their ability to win the ball back, and great skill.
But for whatever reason, that doesn't feel like it's been functioning, particularly away from home for Newcastle this season.
I wouldn't look at that so much. I would never really look at them. I would look more probably going forward and chances created and scoring enough goals. I've never had a problem with the midfield. I think that functions so well. And in Guimaraes, I think that he is one of the top midfield players in world football because he can do absolutely everything, and he so badly. Now, that result, hopefully, for Newcastle and their fans will kickstart them, because this is when you look at the back end, the bottom half of the table, they shouldn't be in that position, Michael, should they?
Yeah, correct. And just to go back to Jamie's point, Dave, when you've got a midfield and you're all on the same line, if you all go together, it only takes one pass to miss you all out, which is basic stuff. But what Jamie was talking about, when they all go and they get the ball, it really works and it looks amazing. And then it's the reaction to get back. That's what I'm more impressed with. And when they've been going forward at times as a free, or whoever might play in that midfield role, the back's been exposed. Because if you see, they got exposed today in the first half. Haaland had a couple of chances. Doku was getting too many time in the middle of the pitch and playing them balls. So the next step is for when they go, the defence has all got to go, and I think they did it really well. Got quite a couple of times, but as a team, they did it really well.
Yeah, second half,
bring this in as well, Jamie, because Harvey Barnes made the point. They are juggling competitions right now with the Champions League, in which they performed really well so far, and of course the Carabao Cup as the defending champions. They've got the quarter-final against Fulham in the middle of December, and there's one giant game that is leaping out here on December the 14th as well, which some Newcastle fans...
Are you doing that game?
I am actually. But they're looking at that game, and that's the only one of all that really counts. But the away form has got to improve, Jamie, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And he'll look at that and he'll point. We have to perform like that away from home. Now, Everton away won't be easy. They've got good players that can certainly hurt you at home. Tottenham, he won't be too worried. And Burnley, obviously, 2 home games. But juggling the squad, Johan Vissa looks like he's going to be really close to playing again. Anthony Gordon, and it gives you a few more players. Alanga needs to find a little bit of form. Hopefully, he will.
But you could get Vissa back fit, and then he disappears to play in the African Cup of Nations in this period.
But they still really, with the players they've got, they should be able to handle it. And you can see today in the wide areas they look really good. I thought they had lots of good crosses into the box. Could have had 2 or 3 goals certainly first half. Jacob Murphy's delivery at times was fantastic as well, Michael, wasn't it? So, yeah, lots of good games. But everything changes now, because if Newcastle would have lost today, we'd look at those games and go, look at that, everything looks so difficult. But all of a sudden now you're going, right, Eddie will be thinking to himself, I can't wait to get involved in these. You'll be licking at your lips, Michael, won't you?
Yeah, he would.
Well, you should have seen Shearer's reaction when those 2 Barnes goals went in. He nearly turned the green room upside down. What a game he had, Al.
Yeah, he was... I thought the balance was much better today, and he played a big part in that. I thought he gave the fullback a really difficult game. Obviously, he missed an absolute sitter. But the part about that is that I like that. A lot of players would then go and hide. He actually put the most difficult one away, and it was a brilliant finish. And I was impressed with his performance, not only his goals, but his work rate and the way he went past the fullback, the way he tried to get balls in. And he was a constant out for Newcastle, as well as his hard work. So I thought it was a terrific performance from him.
Yeah, talk us through the first Harvey Barnes goal then. As you say, putting that out of his mind, what happened in the first half and
well, you somehow have to, and it's difficult when you miss a big chance like that, but you're hoping and praying you get a similar one. Obviously, it's nowhere near similar, but you're hoping to get some sort of opportunity. And they work it really well, I think, Newcastle. Man City would say it's a poor performance, but he played his part there in the little give and go, and it finds himself on the edge of the box. And then he's got to hit the target somehow, and he did that and got it into the corner. The goalkeeper, who made a couple of good saves, there's that little flick there around the corner, and he gets it back. Keeper had made a couple of good saves. He wasn't going to stop that one. It was perfect. It really was. He guides it with the instep into the corner of the goal, into the side net, and the keeper's got no chance. You can see him moving to his left-hand side. He's jumping around, but that is a very, very good finish, and exactly what Newcastle needed at that time.
Less than 5 minutes later, Ruben Diaz equalises for Manchester City, and then Barnes at the double, Shay, to win it for Newcastle and to wrap up the points.
Yeah, Al makes a good point about the mental strength. You know, that big chance in the first half. They bounced back second half and scored 2 goals. And the thing I like about this as well, Will, is there's a lot of players around him when it comes to the actual finish itself. We'll look at maybe the offside decisions if it was because it was very, very tight. But if you actually watch the finish right at the end, there's 2 or 3 Manchester City players. And he didn't panic. It seemed like time stopped, and he just managed to get a flick into the corner. If you explain the offside now, it's just Valtamata with a header down to Guimaraes. I think the semi-automated shows that he's been played on side by Diaz. So that first one, and then there was a second check when Bruno heads us off the crossbar. You'll see it. Now Barnes is in the middle of the 6-yard. You can't really see him, but he's in the middle of that picture, and he's behind the ball. So in a sense, that's where the second check took so long, perhaps. But again, I think it's a clear positivity from the VAR. They've got both decisions bang on. And again, you've got to give Harvey Barnes great credit. I think a brilliant header from Bruno, actually. Unlucky not to score himself, but at the same time, look at the many bodies around him. It would be easy to panic here, Will. But he just managed to keep the cool. Wait till the ball bounced up to that certain height to get something flick on it. And again, it's a brilliant finish from Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, he absolutely loved it. And Al, I know you were impressed, weren't you, with the final 20 minutes after that and how Newcastle saw out the game?
Yeah, because the disappointment of conceding so soon after you've scored. Then to come back from that again and get the goal, Harvey Barnes, I think they deserve great credit for that. But I think what was equally as impressive is that the way they held on to it. They didn't panic. Eddie then changed the system, made a couple of substitutions, and with the pressure that they've been under and with the performances that have been a little lacklustre in recent weeks, it would have been easy for them to fold under the pressure that Man City were obviously going to put on them. But I thought they stood firm and they thoroughly deserved the 3 points. And we know that there was a lot of missed chances in the first half, and it could have gone either way. But I think in the second half, they were the better team and they deserved it.
What do you put the sort of the contrast in home and away form down to this season from Newcastle? Because if you count all competitions, that's a 6th consecutive win on the spin in all comps for Newcastle. Only 3 points in the Premier League on the road.
I think the big difference for me is the energy, is that when you're in front of 52,500 at home, they roar you on. They really do cheer you on. And it's perhaps not as easy at all to get away with not making that extra step. Whereas away from home, you haven't got that pressure, if you like. You haven't got those fans roaring you on. And I think that's been a big difference. But I think certainly today what made the difference for me was Harvey Barnes on one side and the two fullbacks. I thought with the energy they had, not only defensively, but in forward positions as well, I think Newcastle really benefited from that.
Yeah.
Pep, it was an engaging game to watch. Did you deserve more, though, in terms of the result?
It's what it is. It's what it is. We entertained game. They had chances. We had chances. And at the end, the little margins and decisions and things. Good actions for them. And we lost the game.
When you say decisions, at the end, I saw a lot of the coaching stuff going up to the 4th official. Was that about the second goal that Donnarumma felt he was fouled?
Well, it didn't happen against Bournemouth. It didn't happen today neither. So the referee said that I touched the keeper and in a stable when they go out, not fault. It was not fault, okay.
Is that something that he'll have to get used to playing in this league, that perhaps goalkeepers don't get the protection that he would have been used to playing in Europe?
You have to ask to the referees and the rules and everything. Of course, when you play in Europe, in Champions League it's completely different, but here it's completely different since I arrived, I saw it.
That said, it was a brilliant game to watch. It was very competitive. It usually is when Newcastle play City at this ground. Was it just the case that did they take their chances? I think you created a lot.
Yeah, in the beginning, some chances, but we created too. So it was tight. They had chances, we had chances, but in the second half when we were better, and much better in that situation. And concede the goal, after equalised, and after concede again was a big problem. We had the chances at the end, but it was so tight and it was more difficult. And after that, they played the game they deserved to play.
Was that the big frustration, that you'd got back to 1-1 and then they scored again so quickly?
Yeah, it's happened. Sometimes it happens.
Thanks, Pep. Top man.
What did you make of Manchester City, Shay, your old club, in that second half in particular?
Yeah, they were poor. I know he's complaining about the goal. We'll maybe have a look at that if we get another chance to Donnarumma, the challenge on Donnarumma. But at the time, we didn't see it. We were looking maybe at the offsides or not. He sounds frustrated in his interview after, and I think maybe that's to do with the second half performance. The first half, I think City were really good, and we showed the chances at half time. But second half, they didn't really perform well at all, I don't think. And that will be a worry. And I suppose, like any winner, he's really disappointed after the game when they don't get a result. So I didn't see a foul on Donnarumma, and maybe if we see the pictures again, I might be proved wrong.
Well, let's have a look at it, shall we?
Let's have a look, yeah.
What do you see in here, Alan?
No, he went down, Al, but I don't know if there's enough on it. I don't know.
No, I think they got away with one when Liverpool scored one against them a couple of weeks ago, and it was disallowed. They're not getting that as a foul. I understand his frustration because his team had been beaten and well beaten in the second half because they didn't create a lot. I'm not necessarily agree they played well first half. I think if Newcastle were on their game and finishing, they could have scored 6 or 7. So I think sometimes you have to come in and say the better team won today, and I think Newcastle deserved that. But I understand his frustration. He's raw just after the game. He's seen his team beaten in a really tough game. But for me, nothing wrong with the goal Newcastle scored, and the concern would be is that how many chances they're giving up, not on the refereeing decisions or bad luck. It was how many chances Newcastle created today, because if they'd have had their finishing boots on, as I said, they should have scored 6 or 7. They missed 4 absolute sitters, and the way they carved City open would be the bigger concern for me.
Yeah, I guess the question, Shay, is where are Manchester City then in this title picture? You look, since the September international break, their only defeat was against Aston Villa. A lot of people saying City are back and they're going to be the closest challengers to Arsenal, with Liverpool obviously slipping away. But you look at the away form and the last 5 away games, as you can see there: Brighton, Arsenal, Brentford, Aston Villa, and now Newcastle, and 3 red dots.
Yeah, that's a worry. I mean, we talk about it. Newcastle's away form. That doesn't make good reading if you're a City fan either. You know, away from home has not been good enough. And again, Al makes a good point about the amount of chances they give up. If you look at Arsenal, for example, who's sitting at the top of the league, people get a shot at Arsenal these days. They're nearly celebrating. Man City are conceding too many chances, conceding goals as well. But we'll go back to the first half. Haaland had 2 1v1s, I think, in the first half today. Foden had an absolute sitter in the first half. So goals do change games, and Newcastle had their fair share of chances as well. But the amount of chances they give up, you know, if you're a team that's going to win the league, they have to be more solid at the back. I mean, Donnarumma made some big saves today as well to keep them in the game. So we have gone a good run, and you think they're back to their best. But then again, you know, they don't take the chances. They concede too many chances, and of course goals as well. And we all know Newcastle under the lights is a really tough place for any away team to go.
And look, we saw the table there, Al. So look, if Arsenal win the North London derby tomorrow against Tottenham, they go 7 points above Manchester City. So where are City, in Shearer's eyes, in this race now?
Well, they're certainly not as good as what we might never ever see them as good as what they were when they were on that unbelievable run. I mean, the standard that they set in terms of winning trophies, goals, and all of those things, they really have been brilliant. I'm not sure we'll ever see them get to that again. They're certainly not the team without the brilliant Rodri and the protection that he gives them in that team. Not sure they've replaced him as yet. Whether they can find someone as good as him, probably not. But the concern would be, for me, defensive. They're always going to score goals, particularly with Haaland up front. But defensively, they're certainly not as sharp as they have been.
And they used to be so effective, so powerful, Shay, didn't they, on the transition? Is it as simple to say as, well, Rodri?
Well, he's a big key part of that. You know, he come back from injury, a cruciate ligament, obviously is a major injury, but then he's picking up these other niggles. Gonzalez is not the same player as Rodri, there's no doubt about that. I mean, John Stones has not played much football this season. He's on the bench again tonight. His contract's up in the summer. So again, I think Al's right. In attacking areas, they've got lots of different options, but defensively, he seems to be chopping and changing a wee bit, especially in the middle of the centre halves position. I don't know. It just doesn't. The balance doesn't seem 100% right. And it's easy to say that because 2 weeks ago after the Liverpool game, we're saying they're in the title race. They're going to challenge Arsenal all the way to the finishing line. So I think one bad result like tonight doesn't change that. I think they'll come the end of the season, they'll be very much still in the mix, I believe.
And is the problem, and I know we're trying to hammer this narrative perhaps, too much, but if Erling Haaland doesn't perform, then Manchester City don't. I mean, Al, you look at the numbers, 14 of Manchester City's 24 Premier League goals have come from Erling Haaland. He scored 1 more than Newcastle in total this season. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that's pretty simple. When you look at the number of goals he scored, other players have to fill in on that. But
is that a worry, though?
It's a worry. There aren't too many times that he hasn't scored. Obviously, today's one of them, and I think that will continue throughout this season so long as he stays clear of injury. There's no harm in having that much faith in one player, and that player meaning so much to that particular team, because everyone has their superstar player. But yeah, the worry would be is that when he doesn't perform, then other players have to chip in.
And Shearer can sleep well tonight for 2 reasons. 3 points for the Toon Army. And the record's still intact as well.
Been a good day.
Keep him in the 90s club. There we go. Shearer enjoyed that one. Shay, great to have your company as well.